There is a business model being sold all over the internet right now. It usually begins with a screenshot. A young founder sitting in a clean apartment. A laptop on the table. A dashboard on the screen. A caption that says something like, "I built an AI automation agency from $0 to $10,000 a month," or "Businesses are desperate for AI. You just need to sell them automation," or use ChatGPT. Zapier, Make, and a few no-code tools to replace entire teams. The promise sounds perfect. No inventory, no office, no employees, no expensive degree, no complicated product, no years of experience. Just find local businesses, sell them AI chatbots, automate their workflows, and collect monthly retainers. For a generation of people looking for an online business, it feels like a door opening. And at first, the pitch makes sense. Every company is talking about AI. Most businesses do not know what to do with it. Small businesses are overwhelmed. Sales teams want leads. Support teams want chatbots. Agencies want content. Doctors want appointment reminders. Law firms want intake forms. Real estate agents want follow-up. Restaurants want reservation. E-commerce stores want customer service. Coaches want funnels. Consultants want automated outreach. So the agency pitch says, businesses have the problem. AI has the solution. You can be the bridge. That is the dream. But behind the dream is another story. A darker story. A story about fake expertise, overpromised results, broken automations, exposed data, bad chatbots, desperate clients, recycled templates, fake gurus, hidden labor, and people selling AI transformation when they barely understand the business they are trying to automate. This is the dark side of AI automation agencies. Not because every agency is a scam. Some are useful. Some solve real problems. Some help businesses save time. Some are run by serious operators who understand workflows, data, security, and customer experience. But the industry has attracted something else too. A wave of people who saw the word AI and realized it could be turned into a sales script. They are not selling intelligence. They are selling urgency. They tell clients, if you do not automate now, you will be left behind. They tell beginners, if you do not start an AI agency now, you will miss the biggest opportunity of your life. And when fear meets hype, money moves fast. That is where the problems begin. The first problem is that many AI automation agencies are not really AI companies. They are packaging companies. They take a chatbot widget, a workflow template, a no-code automation, a voice assistant, or a prompt chain, wrap it in business language, and sell it as transformation. Sometimes that is fine. A simple tool can still be valuable if it solves a real problem. But too often, the agency does not understand the client's business deeply enough to know whether the solution actually fits. They sell before they diagnose. A dentist says, we miss calls. The agency says, AI voice agent. A real estate agent says, I need more leads. The agency says, AI appointment setter. A law firm says, we get too many intake requests. The agency says, I intake bot. An e-commerce store says support tickets are taking too long. The agency says, oh, and customer service chatbot. The answer is always AI. The problem barely gets examined. That is not consulting. That is vending. And the danger is simple. When you sell one solution to every problem, you eventually sell the wrong solution to someone who trusts you. A real business is messy. It is customers, edge cases, regulations, old software, employee habits, bad data or exceptions, and human relationships. A template does not understand that. An automation can look beautiful in a demo and fail in real life. That is the first dark truth. The demo is not the business. In a demo, the customer asks a clean question. The chatbot answers perfectly. The workflow triggers correctly. The CRM updates. The email sends. The dashboard looks impressive. In real life, the customer spells their name wrong. The appointment time conflicts with another system. The refund policy has exceptions. The invoice is missing fields. The lead is a competitor testing the form. The email lands in spam. The chatbot gives an answer from an outdated document. The business owner forgets to update the knowledge base. The integration breaks after a software update. The employee ignores the new workflow and goes back to texting customers manually. Then the client says, "Why did we pay for this?" This is the gap between selling automation and operating automation. Most beginners in the agency world are taught how to sell. They are not taught how to maintain. But automation is not a one-time delivery. It is a living system. A workflow changes. A tool updates. A policy changes. A new employee joins. A customer asks something unusual. A software vendor changes an API. A model output changes. A form field breaks. A password expires. A data source becomes outdated. Someone has to own that. Many agencies do not. They want the upfront fee. They want the monthly retainer. They want the screenshot of new revenue. They do not want the support tickets at midnight when the AI voice agent starts booking appointments for the wrong day. This is where the business model breaks. A serious automation agency is partly a software company, partly an operations consultant, partly a support desk, partly a security advisor, and partly a change management partner. But many people enter the space thinking it is just sell chatbot, collect money. That is why so many projects disappoint clients. The second problem is fake expertise. AI is confusing to many business owners. They hear about ChatGPT. They hear about agents. They hear about automation. They hear that competitors are using AI. They do not want to look behind. So when a confident agency founder says, "We can build an AI system that handles your leads and automates your sales process," the client may not know what questions to ask. That knowledge gap creates opportunity. It also creates abuse. Some agencies use big words to hide simple tools. They say, "Agent IC workflow orchestration," when they mean the Zap that sends an email. They say, "Custom AI infrastructure," when they mean a chatbot connected to a Google Doc. They say, "Proprietary AI model," when they mean we call an API from another company. They say, "Fully automated revenue engine," when they mean a cold email sequence and a linked form. They say, "They employee," when they mean a bot that breaks when the input changes. The client hears innovation. The agency knows it is a wrapper. This is not always illegal, but it is often misleading. And in business, misleading promises can cause real harm. A small business may spend money it cannot afford. A clinic may risk patient trust. A law firm may risk bad intake. A retailer may damage customer experience. A coach may scam potential clients. A local service company may miss real leads because the bot mishandles them. The cost is not just the agency fee. The cost is lost time, lost trust, lost customers, and lost confidence in AI. This matters because bad agencies poison the market for good ones. After a business sits burned by a sloppy AI project, they become skeptical of everyone. They say, "We tried AI. It did not work." But often they did not try AI. They tried a weak implementation sold by someone who learned the pitch before they learned the craft. That is the third problem. The AI automation agency boom has created an education industry that sometimes teaches selling faster than responsibility. Courses promise, start an AI agency in 30 days. Close high-ticket clients with no experience. Sell AI chatbots to local businesses. Use this script to get clients. Copy my template and charge $3,000. Again, not all education is bad. People need training. Beginners need guidance, but some of the education market is built on a dangerous idea. You do not need to understand the industry. You just need to sell the outcome. That can work for a short time. A beginner can close a client with confidence, urgency, and a polished demo. But after the sale, reality arrives. The client asks, "Can this connect to our booking system? Can it handle Spanish-speaking customers? Can it follow our compliance policy? Can it avoid giving legal advice? Can it send quotes only after a manager approves? Can it understand our refund exceptions? Can it identify bad leads? Can it log every decision? Can it protect customer data? Can it integrate with our old CRM? Can it work if a customer changes their mind halfway through? Can it escalate if the user sounds angry? Can it tell the difference between a real emergency and a routine request? Suddenly, the agency founder realizes the demo was the easy part. The real work is business analysis. This is the part the hype does not show. Automation is not just dragging blocks inside a no-code tool. It is understanding how work actually happens. And most work does not happen the way the owner's manual says it happened. The official process might be lead fills out form, sales team calls, customer books, invoice is sent, service is delivered, follow-up email goes out. The real process might be this. The lead fills out half the form, then texts the owner, then calls the front desk, then asks for a discount, then changes the date. Then the salesperson forgets to update the CRM. Then the invoice is made manually. Then the service team uses a spreadsheet. Then the owner handles complaints personally. Then the follow-up now never sends because nobody trusts the automation. If an agency does not understand this reality, it automates a fantasy. And a fantasy workflow does not survive contact with customers. This is why so many AI automation projects turn into expensive decoration. The chatbot exists. The workflow exists. The dashboard exists. But the business still operates the old way. Employees do not trust it. Customers do not use it. Managers do not maintain it. Data is not updated. No one measures impact. The agency moves on to the next sale. That is not transformation. That is theater. The fourth problem is the black box problem. Many clients do not know it was built for them. They do not know which model is being used. They do not know where customer data goes. They do not know which tools are connected. They do not know what the agency can access. They do not know whether logs are stored. They do not know what happens if the agency disappears. They do not know how to turn the system off. They do not know how to audit outputs. They do not know how much of the system is custom and how much is rented from third-party platforms. This is dangerous. A business should never run critical workflows it does not understand at a basic level. Yet many AI agency projects are sold in a way that keeps the client dependent. Do not worry, we handle everything. That sounds convenient. It can also become a trap. If the agency controls the accounts, the API keys, the automations, the chatbot settings, the prompts, the integrations, and the documentation, the client is not buying a system. They are renting dependency. If the agency disappears, raises prices, or stops responding, the client may be stuck. This is especially risky because many AI automation agencies are tiny. One person to people. A few contractors. A white-labeled platform. A collection of no-code tools. There is nothing wrong with being small. But if a small agency is running important workflows for a client, it needs professional discipline, documentation, handover, access control, backups, clear contracts, security practices, maintenance agreements, incident response, exit plans. Many do not have them. They have a sales funnel and a Stripe link. That is not enough. The fifth problem is data risk. Automation agencies often ask for access to sensitive business systems, a mail, CRM, customer records, support tickets, calendars, payment tools, internal documents, call transcripts, lead databases, medical or legal intake forms, employee information. This data can be valuable, private, and regulated. A careless agency can expose it in many ways. They may paste client data into tools without approval. They may connect systems through personal accounts. They may store API keys in unsafe places. They may use shared passwords. They may give contractors access without controls. They may feed sensitive information into third-party AI systems without understanding the terms. They may leave automation logs full of private details. They may fail to remove access after a project ends. They may not understand privacy laws in the client's industry or country. The client assumes the agency knows what it is doing. Sometimes the agency barely knows where the data is going. This is not a small issue. When an automation handles customer messages, appointment details, payments, legal intake, health questions, or employee records, data protection matters. The darker side of the AI agency boom is that many people selling AI systems have never built secure systems before. They learned tools. They did not learn responsibility. A workflow that looks harmless can become a data leak. A chatbot that answers customer questions may store transcripts. A lead agent may collect phone numbers and emails. A voice bot may record calls. A support agent may see account history. A document agent may read contracts. A sales automation may scrape public and private information. Each step creates data trails. Who controls them? Where are they stored? How long are they kept? Can the client delete them? Can the agency see them? Can third-party vendors train on them? What happens if there is a breach? If the agency cannot answer, the client should be worried. The sixth problem is compliance theater. Some agencies say, "We are compliant," but when you ask what that means, the answer is vague. Compliant with what? Privacy law? Industry regulation? Security standard? Client policy? Model provider terms? Email rules? Advertising laws? Consumer protection rules? Healthcare requirements? Legal ethics? Financial services rules? Compliance is not a mood. It is specific. A chatbot for a restaurant is different from an intake bot for a law firm. An appointment reminder for a hair salon is different from a patient messaging system for a clinic. A lead generation workflow for a gym is different from financial advice automation. The risk changes by industry. A serious agency knows its limits. It says, "We can help with administrative automation, but we are not legal counsel. We need the client to approve these responses. We need to avoid medical advice. We need to escalate sensitive cases. We need to log decisions. We need proper consent for messages. We need to check data handling requirements." A sloppy agency says, "AI can automate everything." That sentence should scare people. The seventh problem is hallucination in business clothes. People often talk about AI hallucination as if it is only a funny chatbot problem. The AI says a fake fact. The AI makes up a source. The AI invents a quote. In business automation, hallucination can be more serious. A support bot invents a refund policy. A sales bot promises a discount that does not exist. A legal intake bot gives advice it should not give. A finance assistant misreads an invoice. A medical office bot gives a misleading answer. A hiring bot misstates a company policy. A travel bot books the wrong date. A real estate bot says a property has a feature it does not have. The problem is not only that the AI is wrong. The problem is that it is wrong with confidence inside a business workflow under the brand of the client. The customer does not blame the model. The customer blames the business. That is why agencies must design for uncertainty. An automation should not guess when the stakes are high. It should say, "I need to check with a human. This requires approval. I do not have enough information. Let me escalate this." But many agencies optimize for the demo. They want the AI to answer everything. In a demo, refusal looks weak. In production, refusal can prevent disaster. This is a major difference between flashy AI and responsible AI. The eighth problem is over-automation. Some agencies believe every human touch point is a problem. It is not. Sometimes the human touch point is the business, a luxury service, a legal consultation, a medical conversation, a high-ticket sale, a sensitive complaint, a complex negotiation, a customer who is upset, a client who needs trust. Automating the wrong moment can destroy value. Imagine a funeral home using a clumsy chatbot for grieving families. Imagine a law firm letting an AI intake agent mishandle a domestic violence case. Imagine a clinic using a bot that sounds cheerful when someone describes serious symptoms. Imagine a high-end consultant sending AI-generated follow-ups that... Imagine a local business replacing the one friendly person customers actually like. Efficiency is not always the goal. Sometimes trust is the goal. A good automation agency knows where not to automate. That is rare, because saying do not automate this can reduce the size of the deal. The honest answer is not always the profitable answer. This is why incentives matter. If an agency earns money by selling automations, it may see automation everywhere. If a consultant earns trust by solving business problems, they may recommend automation only where it makes sense. That difference separates serious firms from hype shops. The ninth problem is fake ROI. Automation agencies often promise, save 20 hours a week, double your lead, replace 2 employees, increase bookings by 30%, cut support costs in half. Sometimes these results are possible. Often they are guesses. The agency may not measure the current process. It may not know how many leads are real. It may not know how many support tickets are actually repetitive. It may not know whether the client has enough traffic. It may not know whether employees will use the system. It may not know whether customers prefer human contact. It may not know the real cost of errors. But the promise sells. This creates disappointment. A client expects dramatic results. The agency delivers a chatbot. The numbers barely move. The client feels misled. Serious agencies begin with baseline. How many leads come in now? How many are missed? How many convert? How fast is response time? How many tickets are repetitive? What does support cost? What is the average order value? How many bookings are lost? Where exactly is the bottleneck? What happens if we improve it? Without a baseline, ROI is a story. And many AI automation agencies are selling stories. The 10th problem is client ignorance being treated as opportunity. A local business owner may not know AI. They may not know APIs. They may not know automation tools. They may not know data security. They may not know how to evaluate a vendor. That does not make them stupid. They are busy running a business. A good agency educates them. A bad agency exploits them. A good agency explains, here is what the system does. Here is what it cannot do. Here are the risks. Here is how data flows. Here is how we measure success. Here is how you can leave if you want. Here is what maintenance costs. Here is when a human must be involved. A bad agency says, trust us. They will handle it. This is why transparency is one of the biggest divides in the industry. The best agencies make the client smarter. The worst agencies keep the client confused. Now let us talk about the agency founders themselves. Many are not villains. A lot of them are young, ambitious, and genuinely excited. They saw an opportunity. They learned tools. They want to help businesses. They want freedom. They want to build something. The problem is that the market rewards confidence before competence. If you speak boldly, you can book calls. If you show a slick demo, you can close. If you copy a template, you can log. If you post wins online, you can attract more clients, but competence takes longer. Competence means understanding. Business process, security, data, customer experience, integration, maintenance, industry risk, change management, testing, documentation, an honest sale. Those skills are slower to learn than a cold email script. The agency boom pushes people to sell before they are ready. Some learn quickly and become real operators. Others keep selling because admitting the gap would kill the fantasy. This is the human tragedy inside the hype. Beginners are also being sold a dream. They are told, you can make money fast. Businesses need this. AI is easy. Just use these tools. Close clients before you build. Outsource delivery. Everyone is starting from zero. Some of that advice contains truth. You do need to sell. Businesses do need help. Tools are more accessible than ever. But the missing sentence is If your automation touches a real business, you are responsible for the consequences. That is the sentence many courses skip. The 11th problem is white label dependency. Many automation agencies are just resellers of white label platforms. Again, reselling is not always bad. A reseller can add value through implementation, strategy, support, and industry knowledge, but some agencies pretend the platform is theirs. They mark up generic tools. They rely entirely on someone else's software. They cannot fix deeper issues. They cannot customize beyond surface settings. They cannot explain how the system works. They cannot protect the client if the platform changes pricing, breaks, or shuts down. The client thinks they hired a technology partner. They actually hired a middleman with a login. Middlemen can be useful if they add expertise. They are dangerous if they add only margin. This is especially common with chatbot platforms, voice agents, lead generation systems, and CRM automation. The agency sells custom AI. The back end is a template everyone else is using. The client receives the same bot as 10 other businesses with the logo changed. That may still help for simple use cases, but it should be priced and described honestly. The 12th problem is hidden human labor disguised as AI. Some agencies sell automation but quietly rely on humans behind the scenes. An AI lead generation system may be a virtual assistant scraping lists manually. An AI content engine may be low-paid writers editing machine drafts. An AI customer support solution may route complex cases to offshore staff. An AI data cleaning service may be contractors fixing spreadsheets. There is nothing wrong with human labor. But if the client is told it is automated, that is deceptive. The reason this happens is simple. Real automation is hard. Humans can patch gaps. If the agency wants to maintain the illusion in AI, it may hide the human. This creates ethical and operational problems. Who sees the client data? Where are the workers located? Are they trained? Are they under confidentiality agreements? Is the client aware? What happens if they make mistakes? A business should know whether humans are involved in its workflow. The 13th problem is cold outreach spam. The automation agencies often use the same tactics they sell. Mass cold emails. They have personalized messages. LinkedIn automation. Scraped leads. Aggressive follow-ups. Generic Loom videos. Fake compliments. Urgency-based scripts. The result is a flood of low-quality outreach. Business owners receive messages saying, "I noticed your website does not have an AI chatbot. I can automate your lead flow. We help businesses like yours save 20 hours a week. Quick question. Are you open to more appointments?" Many of these messages are automated. Many are low effort. Many are sent by people selling automation to fix a problem they are creating. More digital noise. This is one of the ironies of the industry. Agencies promise efficiency while polluting inboxes. AI makes spam cheaper. That does not make it better. A serious agency earns trust through insight referrals, case studies, and real diagnosis. A weak agency sprays generic promises at everyone. The market notices. The 14th problem is bad chatbots damaging brand. For many clients, the first AI automation they buy is a website chatbot. The chatbot is supposed to answer questions, capture leads, book calls, and reduce support work. Sometimes it works. Often it becomes a digital receptionist who knows almost nothing. It answers too vaguely. It sends users in circles. It asks for contact information too early. It does not understand the business. It gives wrong details. It cannot handle angry customers. It cannot escalate properly. It feels like a wall between the customer and the company. A bad chatbot does not just fail to help. It tells customers, "This company does not care enough to make this easy." That is brand damage. If a customer cannot get a straight answer, they may leave. This is why website chatbot projects should be treated carefully. The question is not, can we add AI to the website? The question is, what customer problem will this solve better than the current experience? If there is no clear answer, do not add the bot. The 15th problem is agent washing. This is the new version of AI washing. Everything is an agent now. A form is an agent. A workflow is an agent. A chatbot is an agent. A script is an agent. A notification is an agent. A spreadsheet macro is an agent. The word becomes meaningless. Why does this happen? Because agent sounds more valuable than automation. It suggests intelligence, autonomy, and digital labor. It lets agencies charge more. It lets software vendors sound current. It lets core sellers create urgency. But if the system cannot make decisions, use tools, handle context, and operate within a workflow, calling it an agent may be misleading. Buyers need to ask, what can it actually do? What systems can it access? What decisions can it make? What actions require approval? How does it handle uncertainty? Can we see logs? Can we test failure cases? How is it different from a normal automation? If the answer is vague, the agent may be a cost-in. The 16th problem is no change management. Even a good automation fails if people do not use it. Employees may resist because they fear job loss. They may not trust the output. They may not understand the workflow. They may not have been consulted. They may see the tool as extra work. They may keep using old methods. They may quietly bypass the system. Many agencies ignore this. They think delivery means build the automation, send a walkthrough video, collect payment. Real delivery means train users, explain the purpose, get feedback, adjust the workflow, monitor adoption, handle resistance, and handle days of delint. Measure results. This is why automation agencies often fail inside real companies. They build the technical piece, but not the human adoption. And workflow is not automated until the people around it change their behavior. The 17th problem is maintenance debt. Every automation creates future maintenance. Till updates, API changes, new business rules, new products, new offers, new pricing, new employees, new exceptions, model behavior changes, prompt updates, broken triggers, data format changes. If nobody budgets for maintenance, the automation decays. This is called automation debt. At first, everything works. Then one small change breaks a step. Then someone patches it. Then another step breaks. Then the original builder is gone. Then nobody remembers why the workflow exists. Then employees stop rusting it. Then the automation becomes a ghost system. The company still pays for tools, but the system no longer creates value. Many agencies love building new automations. Few love maintaining old ones. But maintenance is where trust is built. A serious agency sells support honestly. A bad agency pretends the system will run forever. The 18th problem is tool stack chaos. A simple agency project may use ChatGPT or another model provider. Zapier, Mate, Airtable, Dental Sheets, Slack, HubSpot, Go High Level, TW-Illio, Calendly, Notion, Pinnacle or another vector database, the chatbot platform, a voice agent tool, a scraper, an email tool, and a dashboard tool. This can become fragile. Each tool has its own pricing, limits, permissions, bugs, and changes. The agency may understand the stack. The client may not. If something fails, who is responsible? The chatbot vendor? The automation platform? The CRM? The model provider? The agency? The client's employee who changed a field? Tool stack complexity can turn a small automation into a support nightmare. The more tools involved, the more documentation and monitoring are needed. Many agencies underprice this. They charge like it is a simple project. They deliver a small software system. That gap causes conflict. The 19th problem is fragile prompts. Some agencies rely heavily on prompts as if prompts are stable code. A prompt can guide behavior, but it is not the same as a deterministic program. Models can respond differently. New model versions can change behavior. Edge cases can break instruction. User inputs can override weak controls. Long context can dilute rules. Contradictory documents can confuse output. If a business workflow depends only on a prompt, it may be fragile. Serious systems combine prompts with rules, structured data, tool permissions, validation, human approval, testing, monitoring, and clear fallback paths. A prompt is part of the system. It is not the whole system, but many agencies sell prompt chains as if they are enterprise software. That is risky. The 20th problem is set into AI. Clients love the idea. The AI runs everything. Agencies love selling it. Once we set this up, it works automatically. Reality is different. AI systems need review. Automations need monitoring. Data needs updates. Prompts need tuning. Exceptions need handling. Users need support. Set and forget is a fantasy for most meaningful work. A better phrase is set, monitor, improve. That is less sexy. It is true. The 21st problem is the trust gap in voice agent. AI voice agents are one of the hottest products in the agency world. They can answer calls, book appointments, qualify leads, remind customers, and follow up. This can be genuinely useful. Missed calls are expensive for local business. A dental office, med spa contractor, a real estate agent can lose money when nobody answers. But voice agents can go wrong fast. They may misunderstand names. They may book wrong times. They may sound unnatural. They may fail with accents or noisy calls. They may mishandle emergencies. They may frustrate callers who want a human. They may record sensitive information. They may violate calling or consent rules. They may make promises the business cannot keep. A voice agent is not just software. It is the front door of the business. If it sounds bad, the business sounds bad. Agencies selling voice agents need to be careful. What calls should it handle? When should it transfer? What should it never say? How are calls logged? What happens after booking? How are mistakes reviewed? Do customers know they are speaking with AI? Are recording laws followed? If the agency cannot answer these questions, it should not be selling voice agents into sensitive workflow. The 22nd problem is replacing empathy with automation. Many agency demos focus on speed. Faster replies, faster booking, faster qualification, faster follow-up. Speed matters, but some customer interactions require care. A complaint, a refund after a bad experience, a medical concern, a legal problem, a family emergency, a financial hardship, a grieving customer, a frustrated client. An AI system can be polite. It can simulate empathy, but businesses should know when real human empathy matters. The dark side of automation is not that machines answer simple questions. It is that companies may use machines to avoid human responsibility. A customer can feel the difference. The 23rd problem is chasing shiny tools instead of business outcomes. The AI tool market changes every week. New model, new agent platform, new voice tool, new scraper, new automation builder, new CRM plugin, new chatbot framework. Agency founders get distracted. They rebuild their stack constantly. They sell whatever is trending. They pitch agents 1 month, voice bots the next, SDRS after that, then AI content engines, then AI receptionists. The client does not care. The client wants more booked appointments, fewer missed calls, faster support, better lead follow-up, less manual admin, fewer errors, lower cost. Tools are means, outcomes are the product. A serious agency is still agnostic. It chooses what solves the problem. A hype agency is still obsessed. It sells whatever gets attention. The 24th problem is selling to the wrong clients. Not every business is ready for AI automation. Some have too little traffic. Some have no clear process. Some have messy offers. Some do not answer leads manually, so they will not manage automated leads either. Some cannot maintain content. Some have no CRM. Some have no budget. Some expect miracles. Some want because it sounds trendy, not because they have a real bottleneck. An agency desperate for revenue may take these clients anyway. Then the project fails. A good agency qualifies clients. It asks, do you have enough volume for this to matter? Do you have a clear process? Do you have someone to own the system? Are you willing to change behavior? Can we measure success? Is the risk acceptable? Is AI the right solution? Sometimes the best answer is best. You are not ready yet. That honesty may lose a sale. It builds reputation. The 25th problem is fake case studies. Because the market is crowded, agencies need proof. Some exaggerate. They show a dashboard without context. They claim revenue increases caused by AI without controlling for other factors. They present a pilot as a full deployment. They call a template a custom system. They say saved 50 hours based on a guess. They use fake testimonials. They use screenshots from test accounts. They borrow results from course creators or white label vendors. They imply big clients when they only did a tiny project. This is dangerous. Trust is the only long-term asset an agency has. Fake proof make lousy deals quickly, but it destroys credibility. In a market full of hype, honesty becomes a different entity. The 26th problem is legal exposure from marketing claims. When agencies promise that AI will replace employees, guarantee income, produce certain revenue, or deliver professional-grade advice, they enter risky territory. Regulators have already shown that deceptive AI claims can attract enforcement. The message is simple. Using AI does not make false advertising legal. If an agency says, our AI lawyer can replace an attorney, our AI system guarantees sales, our AI store makes passive income, our AI reviews are authentic, it should be ready to prove those claims. Many cannot. This matters because the agency industry lives on marketing. If the marketing is reckless, the business is exposed. A serious agency uses careful claims, can help reduce response time, may automate certain repetitive tasks, designed to assist with intake, requires human approval for sensitive cases. Results vary based on volume and implementation. That language is less exciting. It is safer and more honest. The 27th problem is clients using AI agencies to avoid hard management. Some business owners hope AI will fix problems they do not want to manage. Their sales team is disorganized. Their support process is unclear. Their offer is confusing. Their website is bad. Their employees are not trained. Their data is a mess. Their customer experience is weak. They buy an AI automation. It fails. Then they blame the AI. But AI cannot rescue a broken business model. Automation can improve a process. It cannot create a good process from nothing. If the underlying business is chaotic, automation may just make the chaos faster. A serious agency tells the client this. A bad agency takes the money. The 28th problem is overcharging for simple work. Some agencies charge premium prices for extremely basic implementations. HFBot connected to FAQS, AZA peer workflow, a simply mail automation, a calendar booking flow, a lead capture form. There is nothing wrong with charging well for expertise. The issue is pretending simple work is advanced proprietary AI. Clients may not know the difference. This creates resentment when they later discover the system is built from off-the-shelf tools. The ethical approach is to charge for value, strategy, and support while being transparent about the stack. If the automation saves the client significant money, a high fee may be fair. If the agency simply installs a generic widget and hides the simplicity, that is questionable. The 29th problem is undercharging for complex work. This is the opposite problem. Beginners sometimes charge too little for workflows that require serious maintenance. They sell a complex multi-tool automation for $500. Then the client expects unlimited changes. The system breaks. Support takes hours. The agency founder burns out. The client gets angry. Underpricing leads to poor service. Real automation work includes discovery, design, implementation, testing, documentation, training. monitoring, and support. That costs money. A market full of beginners undercharging can train clients to expect cheap magic. Then serious agencies have to explain why real work costs. The 30th problem is burnout for agency founders. The online pitch makes AI agencies sound like passive income. In reality, service businesses are hard. Sales calls, proposal, follow-ups, client onboarding, scope creep, tool bugs, support tickets, custom requests, late payments, difficult clients, broken integrations, constant learning, changing platforms, competition, content marketing, hiring contractors, managing expectation. AI does not remove the grind of running an agency. It may add more technical complexity. Many founders discover this after closing a few clients. The business they thought would be leverage becomes a job with emergencies. This is not a reason to avoid the industry. It is a reason to enter with clear eyes. The 31st problem is scope creep. A client buys a chatbot, then asks, can it also send text? Can it also update CRM? Can it also handle refunds? Can it also call leads? Can it also generate reports? Can it also post on social media? Can it also train our team? Can it also integrate with this old system? If the contract is vague, the agency gets trapped. Scope creep kills service business. AI makes it worse because clients think anything is possible. A serious agency defines what is included, what is not included, what counts as a change request, what maintenance includes, what response times are, what risks are accepted, what third-party costs are separate. This is not boring paperwork. It is survival. The 32nd problem is security by ignorance. Some agency founders do not know what they do not know. They connect systems casually. They use personal Gmail accounts. They store client secrets in spreadsheets. They share access with freelancers. They skip two-factor authentication. They use the same password everywhere. They do not understand OAuth scopes. They do not restrict API keys. They do not audit logs. They do not remove old access. Nothing bad happens, then one day it does. A client account is compromised. Customer data is exposed. An automation sends messages incorrectly. A contractor accesses data they should not. An API key leaks. The founder says, I did not know. That will not satisfy the client. If an agency wants access to business systems, it must treat security seriously. This is the line between amateur and professional. The 33rd problem is testing only the happy path. A demo usually tests the easiest scenario, but real systems fail at the edges. What if the customer is angry? What if they ask for something illegal? What if they enter nonsense? What if they ask for a refund above the limit? What if they try to manipulate the bot? What if they ask about a competitor? What if they submit private information? What if the CRM is down? What if the calendar has no openings? What if the email bounces? What if the model refuses incorrectly? What if the output is too long? What if the user switches languages? What if the source document contradicts itself? Testing must include the ugly cases. Many agencies do not test them because ugly cases ruin the demo. But ugly cases are where trust is built. The 34th problem is lack of ownership after handoff. A workflow needs an owner who updates the knowledge base, who reviews logs, who handles escalations, who changes policies, who checks performance, who approves new features, who communicates with the agency. If nobody owns it, the system decays. The agency may blame the client. The client may blame the agency. The truth is that ownership should have been defined at the start. A serious agency asks, who on your team will own this process? If the client says nobody, that is a warning. The 35th problem is selling AI to people who need basic operations first. Sometimes the best solution is not AI. It is this: a better form, a clearer website, a CRM setup, a standard operating procedure, staff training, a better offer, faster human follow-up, a call tracking system, a normal FAQ page, a simple email template. They may come later. But if an agency only sells AI, it may ignore simpler fiction. This is like selling a race car to someone who needs to repair the road. The best automation consultants are willing to recommend boring solutions. Boring solutions often work. The 36th problem is the illusion of replacing employees. Agency pitches often say, this can replace a receptionist. This can replace a sales assistant. This can replace customer support. This can replace a marketing team. Sometimes AI can reduce the need for certain tasks, but replacing a role is harder than automating a task. A receptionist does not only answer calls. They notice tone. They handle exceptions. They build relationships. They know regular customers. They calm people down. They catch weird situations. They coordinate with staff. A sales assistant does not only send emails. They understand priorities, politics, timing, and context. Customer support does not only answer questions. It repairs trust. Marketing does not only produce intent. It understands positioning and taste. When agencies sell full replacement to casually, they create unrealistic expectations and employee fear. The honest pitch is the honest pitch. We can automate specific tasks and reduce workload. That is less dramatic. It is more accurate. The 37th problem is no accountability for AI decisions. If an agent takes action, someone must be accountable. If a refund is issued incorrectly, who owns it? If a customer is misled, who owns it? If a lead is mishandled, who owns it? If a private document is exposed, who owns it? The agency may say the client approved the system. The client may say the agency built it. The platform may say its terms limit liability. The model provider may say outputs are not guaranteed. This blame chain is dangerous. Clear accountability should be in the contract and workflow design. No critical automation should exist without an owner. The 38th problem is the collapse of trust when AI lies. If a human employee makes a mistake, the company can apologize. If an AI system makes a mistake, the customer may feel the company tried to cut corners. The emotional reaction is different. A customer may think, you did not care enough to have a real person help me. This is why companies must be careful with customer-facing AI. The system must make the experience better, not just cheaper. If customers feel abandoned to a bot, the automation has failed even if it saved money. The 39th problem is the race to the bottom. Because tools are accessible, many agencies offer similar services. AI chatbot, AI appointment setter, AI voice agent, AI lead generation, AI content system, AI CRM automation. When services look the same, price competition begins. Beginners undercut each other. Clients get confused. Quality varies wildly. The market gets noisy. To survive, agencies need differentiation, industry specialization, deep workflow expertise, security standards, measurable outcomes, strong maintenance, better change management, real case studies, honest consulting. Generic AI automation may become a commodity. Specialized operational improvement will remain valuable. The 40th problem is moral outsourcing. Some clients hire AI agencies because they want the agency to make uncomfortable decisions. Can we automate support so we do not need to hire? Can we replace the assistant? Can we send thousands of personalized cold emails? Can we create reviews? Can we scrape data? Can we make the bot sound human? The agency must decide what it will not do. This matters. The service provider is not just a tool. It is a participant in the client's business choices. If an agency helps a client deceive customers, spam prospects, mishandle data, or avoid responsibility, it cannot pretend to be neutral. The dark side of AI automation is not only technical, it is ethical. Now let us talk about what a good AI automation agency actually looks like. It does not begin with a tool. It begins with diagnosis. It asks, where is work getting stuck? What is the current process? How often does this happen? What does the delay cost? What data is needed? What systems are involved? What exceptions matter? Who owns the workflow? What risks are unacceptable? How will we measure success? Then it decides whether AI is needed. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. If yes, it designs a narrow system, not automate the whole business, a specific workflow, a support triage agent, a lead qualification work, an invoice exception checker, an appointment reminder system, a document summarizer with human approval, a call routing assistant, a customer FAQ system with escalation. It defines boundaries, what the system can do, what it cannot do, when it escalates, what data it can access, what actions require approval, how outputs are reviewed, how logs are stored, how success is measured. It explains the stack, which tools, which model providers, which data flows, which accounts, which costs, which risks. It trains the client's team. It documents the system. It monitors performance. It maintains the automation. It improves based on feedback. That is real work. It is not as easy as the social media pitch, but it is far more valuable. Now let us talk about why the dark side exists. The ingredients are obvious. High demand, low client knowledge, easy-to-use tools, viral income claims, course sellers, urgency around AI, no clear professional standards, complex technology, hard to measure outcomes, fear of falling behind. This combination attracts both builders and opportunists. The same thing happened in other waves. SEO agencies, social media marketing agencies, crypto consultants, dropship gurus, web design shops, growth hackers, no-code agencies, and NFT projects, metaverse consultants. Every wave is real value and fake value. AI automation is no different. The difference is that AI can touch more sensitive work. That raises the stakes. A bad social media post is annoying. A bad AI workflow connected to customer data, payments, legal intake, or HR systems can be serious. This is why the industry needs more maturity, not less innovation. More maturity. Now let us talk about the client checklist. If a business is considering hiring an AI automation agency, it should ask, what problem are we solving? Why is AI the right solution? What happens if the AI is wrong? What data will the system access? Where will the data be stored? Which third-party tools are used? Who owns the accounts? Can we audit the system? Can we turn it off? What actions require human approval? How are edge cases handled? What support is included? How will results be measured? What is the maintenance plan? What happens if we stop working together? Do you have experience in our industry? Can you show real outcomes, not just demos? What claims are you willing to put in writing? A good agency will welcome these questions. A weak agency will get defensive. That tells you a lot. Now let us talk about the agency founder checklist. If someone wants to build a serious AI automation agency, they should ask themselves, do I understand the client's workflow? Do I understand the risks? Can I explain the system simply? Can I secure the data? Can I support the client after launch? Can I say no when AI is not the right answer? Can I measure outcomes? Can I document what I build? Can I handle broken automations? Can I avoid exaggerating claims? Can I build trust beyond a VMO? If the answer is no, slow down. Learn before selling critical systems. There is nothing wrong with starting small. A simple internal automation for a low-risk workflow is a good beginning. But do not pretend to be an enterprise AI transformation expert after watching a few tutorials. That gap is where harm happens. Now let us talk about the future of the industry. AI automation agencies will not disappear. The need is real. Businesses need help applying AI. Most companies cannot figure out every workflow alone. Tools are changing quickly. There is a gap between AI capability and business implementation. Agencies can fill that gap, but the market will split. At the bottom, generic template agencies will fight on price. They will sell chatbots, simple automations, and basic lead work. Many will churn clients. Many will disappear. In the middle, specialized agencies will focus on niche. Dental offices, real estate teams, law firm intake, e-commerce support, insurance operation, SaaS customer success, construction paperwork, medical admin. They will understand industry workflows and build repeatable systems. At the top, Series A, operations firms will work with larger companies. They will handle governance, integration, security, process redesign, and measurable transformation. The winners will not be the loudest. They will be the most trusted. The age of I can build you a chatbot will not last forever. The next phase is I understand your business process and I can improve it safely. That is a much harder pitch. It is also a better business. Now let us talk about why this matters for the broader AI economy. If AI automation agencies behave badly, they slow adoption. They create distrust. They waste client budgets. They cause security incidents. They generate spam. They overpromise and underdeliver. They give AI a bad reputation. If they behave well, they accelerate adoption. They translate technology into practical value. They help small businesses compete. They reduce repetitive work. They improve customer service. They modernize operations. They make AI less scary. The agency layer matters because most businesses do not buy raw models. They buy solutions. The people packaging those solutions shape how AI reaches the real economy. That is a powerful position. It should be treated with responsibility. Now let us tell a small story. A local clinic is an AI automation agency. The agency promises, we will automate patient intake and reduce admin work. The demo looks great. A patient fills out a form. The AI summarizes symptoms. The system creates a record. The front desk receives a clean summary. The clinic pays. Then problems appear. Some patients enter sensitive information. The agency did not clarify where it is stored. The AI summary misses important details. The front desk does not know whether to trust it. The doctor wants the original from anyway. The system does not connect cleanly to the clinic software. Someone has to copy information manually. Patients ask medical questions in the chatbot. The bot answers too confidently. The staff gets nervous. The clinic turns it off. The agency says, the client did not use it correctly. The clinic says, the AI is dangerous. The truth is that the project was designed badly. A better version would have been narrower. The AI could help with administrative intake only. It could avoid medical advice. It could summarize with clear disclaimers. It could require staff review. It could store data in approved systems. It could be tested on real cases. It could have escalation rules. It could include staff training. It could begin with a small pilot. The difference is not the technology. It is responsibility. That is the whole dark side in one example. The tool can help. The implementation can hurt. Now another story. A small home services company hires an agency for lead follow-up. The agency builds an AI texting workflow. When someone submits a form, the AI texts them immediately, asks qualifying questions, offers appointment times, and updates the CRM. This works well. Why? The use case is narrow. The risk is low. The value is clear. The company already has lead volume. The agent does not make dangerous promises. It escalates unusual questions. The owner reviews transcripts weekly. The CRM is updated. The agency monitors results. Bookings increase. This is the good side. Same industry, same tools, different approach. That is why the answer is not, all AI agencies are bad. The answer is bad AI agencies are dangerous, and good AI agencies are more operational than they look. Now let us talk about the psychological manipulation in the guru economy. Many course sellers do not sell AI. They sell escape. Escape from a job. Escape from low income. Escape from uncertainty. Escape from feeling behind. The message is now. AI is your chance. Do not miss this. Businesses are desperate. You can start with no experience. Just follow the system. This message works because people are anxious. The economy feels unstable. Jobs feel uncertain. AI itself threatens some careers. People want a way to benefit from the disruption instead of being hurt by it. The course seller offers a path. Become the AI person. That is emotionally powerful. But if the path does not include ethics, craft, and responsibility, it creates a cycle. Beginners by the course. They sell to clients before they are ready. Clients get weak results. Beginners struggle with delivery. They quit or become course sellers themselves. The market fills with more promises than competence. This is how hype reproduces itself. The product becomes not automation, but the dream of selling automation. That is the darkest layer. Some people make more money teaching AI automation agencies than running one. This does not mean all teachers are bad, but buyers should ask, does this person actually run a serious agency? Do they show real client outcomes? Do they teach delivery and risk? Do they discuss security and maintenance? Or do they mostly teach how to close high-ticket clients? What is being sold? A skill or a fantasy? Now let us talk about the word dark side. The dark side is not that AI automation exists. The dark side is the combination of Din-Lin, powerful tools, weak standards, desperate buyers, desperate sellers, unclear risk, and exaggerated promises. AI automation can be good. It can save time. It can help small businesses. It can reduce repetitive work. It can improve customer experience. It can give people new careers. But when it is sold carelessly, it can become a machine for disappointment. This is why the industry needs better norms. Do not promise guaranteed revenue. Do not pretend templates are custom AI. Do not hide data flows. Do not deploy customer-facing bots without escalation. Do not connect sensitive systems without security practices. Do not call everything an agent. Do not automate regulated advice without experts. Do not treat clients as ignorant wallets. Do not sell systems you cannot support. Do not say, I will replace people when you are only automating tasks. Do not chase retainers without delivering outcomes. These should be basic. In a mature industry, they would be. AI automation is still young. That is why the standards are still forming. Now let us talk about what clients actually need. They do not need someone to impress them with AI terms. They need someone to reduce pain. A business owner does not wake up thinking, I need an agent, I see a workflow. They think, we missed 3 leads yesterday. My team is overwhelmed. Customers are waiting too long. We keep making invoice mistakes. Our follow-up is inconsistent. Our staff answers the same questions every day. I do not know where time is going. We are growing but cannot hire fast enough. The agency's job is to connect AI to that pain, not to force AI into every corner. This is why the best AI automation agencies may not call themselves AI automation agencies forever. They may become operations firms, workflow design firms, AI implementation partners, revenue operations consultant, customer experience automation specialists, back office modernization firms, because AI is not the product. The improved workflow is the product. That is the mature version. Now let us talk about the done-for-you trap. Clients like done-for-you because they are busy. Agencies like done-for-you because it sounds premium. But done-for-you can become dangerous when the client never learns the system. The agency builds everything. The client nods. Nobody internally understands it. Then the client becomes dependent. A better model is done with you. The agency builds but also trains. The client understands the basics. Ownership is shared. Documentation exists. The business can operate even if the agency leaves. This builds long-term trust. It may also reduce dependency revenue. That is why some agencies avoid it. But serious clients will eventually demand it. Now let us talk about why automation agencies are tempting for small businesses. Small businesses cannot hire full AI teams. They do not have data scientists. They may not have operations experts. They need practical help. An agency can be valuable if it gives the fast implementation, clear use cases, affordable automation, simple maintenance, training, and honest advice. This is a real market. A good agency can help a small business answer leads faster, reduce missed calls, improve appointment reminders, and handle common questions. That can matter. The dark side is not the existence of the service. It is the overselling of transformation when the work is basic. If the agency says, "We can build a lead response system that may improve response time," that is honest. If it says, "We will build an AI employee that doubles your revenue," be careful. Now let us talk about why enterprise clients are different. Large companies are harder to sell but easier to justify if you can deliver. They care about security, procurement, compliance, integration, vendor stability, data governance, support, auditability, ROI, change management. The beginner agency cannot fake this for long. Enterprise buyers ask harder questions. They have legal teams. They have security reviews. They have procurement processes. This is why many automation agencies target small businesses first. Small businesses make decisions faster and ask fewer technical questions. That is not a bad thing, but it increases the need for ethical selling. The less sophisticated a buyer, the more responsibility the seller has. Now let us talk about the future regulation of AI service providers. As AI systems take action for businesses, service providers may face more scrutiny. Privacy rules, consumer protection, advertising claims, industry-specific regulation, data processing agreement, security standards, AI transparency requirements. Agencies that professionalize early will be ready. Agencies that run everything from a messy stack of personal accounts will struggle. This may clean up the market. When compliance expectations rise, weak operators leave or move to lower-risk niches. The industry matured. Now let us talk about signs of a weak agency. They promise huge results without discovery. They use buzzwords instead of clear explanations. They cannot explain data flow. They avoid security questions. They have no maintenance plan. They call basic automations AI agents. They say the system is fully autonomous for risky tasks. They cannot show real outcomes. They pressure the client with fear. They do not ask about current process. They do not define success metrics. They hide the tools they use. They refuse documentation. They treat human escalation as optional. These are red flags. Now signs of a strong agency. They ask many questions before proposing. They recommend simpler fixes when appropriate. They define scope clearly. They explain risks plainly. They show how data moves. They set human approval rules. They start with narrow use cases. They test edge cases. They provide documentation. They train the team. They measure outcomes. They support and maintain. They are honest about limitation. They understand the client's industry. They say no when needed. These agencies will survive. Now let us talk about the long-term winners. The winners will not be the people who learned the newest tool fastest. Tools change. The winners will be the people who understand business pain, workflow design, trust, data, security, change management, and measurable outcomes. AI makes implementation easier in some ways. It does not remove the need for judgment. The agency founder who understands a specific industry deeply may be the generalist who knows more tools but less business. A person who understands law firm intake can build better systems for law firms. A person who understands dental office operations can build better systems for clinics. A person who understands e-commerce support can build better systems for stores. Domain knowledge is a moat. In the AI agency gold rush, the real gold may not be AI knowledge. It may be business knowledge. Now let us talk about the future of the word agency. The agency model may evolve. Some will become product companies. They will package repeatable workflows into SaaS. Some will become consulting firms. Some will become managed service providers. Some will become implementation partners for larger AI platforms. Some will specialize in industries. Some will disappear. This is normal. A young market begins with many small agencies. Over time, services become products, platforms absorb simple use cases, and specialized firms handle complex work. Generic chatbot agencies may be eaten by software platforms. Specialized workflow experts may remain valuable. This is why beginners should be careful about building a business that can be replaced by a platform. If your whole agency is this, I install a chatbot on your website, a software update can wipe out your differentiation. If your agency understands customer acquisition for med spas and builds measurable follow-up systems with compliance, reporting, and training that is harder to replace, specificity wins. Now let us talk about the platform risk. Many agencies depend on platforms like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Zapier, Make Do High Level, TWilio, chatbot builders, voice agent tools, and CRM systems. If a platform changes pricing, features, terms, or access, the agency is affected. If the platform launches a feature that does what the agency sells, the agency is affected. If the platform fails, the client blames the agency. This is platform dependency. Agencies should build value above the two-layer. Strategy, process, integration, training, support, industry knowledge. Otherwise, they are only reselling platform access with a markup. The platform may eventually take the margin. Now let us talk about the relationship between AI automation agencies and employees. Agencies often sell to owners and executives, but employees live with the system. If employees are not included, they may resist. An agency might build a support automation without talking to support reps. That is a mistake. Support reps know the real customer issue. They know what customers ask. They know which policies are confusing. They know where the knowledge base is wrong. They know what should be escalated. Ignoring them creates bad systems. A good agency interviews frontline workers. This is not just polite. It improves the automation. Now let us talk about the false promise of no code. No code tools are powerful. They let non-engineers build workflows. They make automation more accessible. But no code does not mean no complexity. A no-code system can still be badly designed. It can still expose data. It can still break. It can still create confusing logic. It can still need testing. It can still require documentation. It can still have security risks. No code lowers the barrier to building. It does not lower the responsibility of building. This is another dark side. People confuse ease of construction with readiness for production. A bridge made with easier tools still has to hold weight. Now let us talk about AI-generated content agencies. Some AI automation agencies pivot into content machines, blogs, social posts, emails, ads, SEO pages, video scripts. They promise massive output, but the internet is already filling with generic AI content. More content is not automatically better marketing. If the content has no insight, no taste, no original experience, and no clear strategy, it becomes noise. Clients may pay for volume and get nothing. A good content automation system supports a real marketing strategy. It repurposes expert knowledge. It speeds drafts. It helps distribution. It does not replace the need for positioning, customer understanding, and originality. The dark side is selling content volume as business growth. Now let us talk about AI lead generation agencies. This category is full of danger. Many promised, we will get you qualified leads using AI. The actual method may be scrape lists, send cold emails. You say personalization, automate follow-ups, book calls. This can work in some cases. It can also become spam, bad data, bad targeting, weak offers, fake personalization, overpromising. a mail deliverability problems, compliance issues, brand damage. If an agency sends thousands of messages under a client's name, the client bears the reputation risk. Lead generation should be handled carefully. AI can improve research and personalization. It cannot fix a bad offer or unethical outreach. Now let us talk about AI appointment setting. This is another popular service. For some businesses, missed appointments and slow response are real problems. Automation can help, but appointment setting has details. Time zones, staff availability, service length, eligibility, pricing, deposits, cancellation policies, emergency cases, human preferences. A simple booking bot may fail if these are not handled. A good appointment system integrates with the real calendar, follows rules, confirms details, sends reminders, and escalates uncertainty. A bad one books chaos. Now let us talk about AI customer service replacement. This is probably the biggest market and the biggest risk. Companies want to reduce support costs. Agencies sell support bots, but support is where customer frustration becomes visible. A bad bot may increase anger. A good bot may reduce waiting. The difference is design, clear scope, accurate knowledge, easy escalation, tone control, policy approval, transcript review, continuous improvement. Customer support automation should begin with high volume, low risk questions. It should not begin by blocking humans from all issues. Now let us talk about the hidden emotional labor in support. Customers do not always ask for information. Sometimes they ask for recognition. They want to feel heard. An AI can say sympathetic words, but if the system cannot solve the problem or escalate correctly, the words feel fake. This is why support agents must be connected to action. A chatbot that says, "I understand your frustration," but cannot do anything is worse than a simple help article. Automation should not fake care. It should reduce friction. Now let us talk about internal automation. Internal automations are often safer starting points than customer-facing AI. Summarize meetings, route internal tickets, prepare reports, draft internal documents, search knowledge bases, notify teams, clean data, flag exceptions. If something goes wrong, the damage is usually easier to contain. This is where many agencies should start. But customer-facing bots are easier to sell because the value sounds obvious. A mature agency may guide clients toward lower-risk first steps. Now let us talk about the insurance question. As AI automation becomes part of business operations, agencies may need professional liability coverage, cyber insurance, and clear contractual protections. This is not exciting. It is professional. If you are handling client systems and customer data, you need to think like a serious service provider. The era of casual automation will not last. Now let us talk about the reputation of the industry. Right now, AI automation agencies are in a trust-building period. The market can go two ways. It can become known for real operational improvement, or it can become known for spammy outreach, fake gurus, broken bots, and overpromises. Which way it goes depends on the people in the market. Every honest project helps. Every scam hurts. The industry does not need less ambition. It needs more standards. Now let us talk about what would make AI automation agencies valuable long-term. First, specialization. Serve a clear type of client. Second, measurable outcomes. Tie work to business metrics. Third, security and data practices. Protect client systems. Fourth, maintenance. Support what you build. Fifth, transparency. Explain tools, limits, then risks. Sixth, change management. Help humans adopt. Seventh, ethical sales. Do not promise miracles. Eighth, documentation. Make systems understandable. Ninth, testing. Do not rely on demos. 10th, humility. AI is powerful, but it is not magic. These are not glamorous. They are the foundation of a serious business. Now let us talk about why clients are partly responsible too. Clients can be seduced by hype. They want cheap transformation. They want a quick fix. They want AI because competitors mention it. They want automation without changing operations. They want results without data cleanup. They want magic without maintenance. That mindset attracts bad agencies. A serious client must be willing to participate. Automation is a partnership. The agency brings technical and process expertise. The client brings domain knowledge, access, feedback, and ownership. If the client refuses to engage, the project struggles. So the dark side is not only selling, it is also buyers wanting miracles. Markets become healthier when both sides grow up. Now let us talk about the role of case studies. A real case study should include the client's problem, the baseline, the solution, the implementation process, the tools used at a high level, the time frame, the measurable result, the limitations, and what changed after deployment. Most case studies do not. They show client got more leads. That is not enough. Big revenue increase? Were the leads qualified? What was the cost? What was the conversion rate? Did staff adopt the system? Did customer satisfaction improve? What did the automation actually do? Serious buyers should demand better proof. Now let us talk about AI agency content online. A lot of content makes the industry look easier than it is. Screenshots of revenue, videos of dashboards, cold call scripts, tool tutorials. Build this in 10 minutes. Sell this for $5,000. There is value in tutorials, but a 10-minute build is not a production system. The internet shows the exciting part, building the demo. It hides the hard part, making it reliable, secure, and useful. This gap misleads beginners. If you are entering the field, understand this. The money is not in knowing how to connect tools. The money is in being trusted to solve business problems. That trust is earned slowly. Now let us talk about what happens after the hype cools. The weak agencies leave. The easy money dries up. Clients become more educated. Software platforms include more built-in AI. Regulators watch claims more closely. Security requirements rise. Case studies matter more. Specialization matters more. This is when the real firms emerge. The same thing happened with websites. At first, anyone could charge for basic websites. Then templates and platforms commoditized simple work. The serious web agencies moved into strategy, branding, conversion, complex builds, and ongoing growth. AI automation may follow the same path. Basic bots become cheap. Serious workflow transformation remains valuable. Now let us talk about the final warning for clients. Do not buy A because it is AI. Buy a solution to a painful, measurable problem. If the agency cannot connect the automation to a real business outcome, wait. If the agency cannot explain the risks, wait. If the agency cannot explain the data flow, wait. If the agency promises guaranteed growth without understanding your business, walk away. If the agency says everything can be fully automated, be careful. If the agency refuses to document the system, be careful. AI can help, but blind buying creates expensive disappointment. Now the final warning for agency founders. Do not build your business on hype alone. Hype is unstable. Build on trust. Learn the tools, but also learn business. Learn sales, but also learn delivery. Learn prompts, but also learn process. Learn automation, but also learn security. Learn AI, but also learn when not to use AI. The market is hungry, but hunger does not excuse bad work. If you want to be in this industry long term, act like you are handling a real business because you are. Your system may answer real customers. It may touch real data. It may affect real revenue. It may change real jobs. That deserves seriousness. Now let us close the story. AI automation agencies exist because there is a real gap. AI is moving fast. Businesses need help. Tools are powerful. Workflows are inefficient. Customers expect speed. Companies want leverage. That gap creates opportunity, but opportunity attracts shortcuts. The dark side is what happens when people sell the shortcut without understanding the responsibility. A chatbot becomes a promise. A template becomes a transformation. A prompt becomes a product. A dashboard becomes proof. A retainer becomes the goal. The client becomes the experiment. That is the danger. The future will not belong to agencies that shout the loudest. It will belong to the ones that quietly make businesses work better. The ones that diagnose before selling. The ones that protect data. The ones that test edge cases. The ones that document systems. The ones that train teams. The ones that measure outcomes. The ones that say no when no is the right answer. Because AI automation is not magic. It is operations with a new engine. And engines can move a business forward. They can also crash it. That is the dark side of AI automation agencies. Not that automation is fake. Not that AI is useless. Not that every agency is bad. The dark side is the gap between what is promised and what is responsibly delivered. In that gap, clients lose money. Customers lose trust. Workers feel threatened. Data gets exposed. Founders burn out. Then the entire industry becomes harder to trust. But if that gap closes, something better is possible. AI agencies to become the translators between powerful technology and real business value. They could help small companies compete. They could remove repetitive work. They could improve service. They could make operations cleaner. They could bring AI down from keynote stages into ordinary businesses. That is the good version. The question is whether the industry chooses it. Because right now, the market is still young. The rules are still forming. The promises are still loud. The clients are still learning. The tools are still changing. The money is still moving. And every boom has a test. Can it mature before it burns too many people? That is the test for AI automation agencies. The winners will pass it. The rest will become another cautionary tale in the long history of people turning new technology into old-fashioned hype. There is one more reason agents are spreading so fast. They give companies a story they can tell internally. Every major technology shift needs a story. Cloud had a story. Stop buying servers, rent what you need. Mobile had a story. Put the internet in everyone's pocket. Fios had a story. Stop installing software. Subscribe to it. Generative AI had a story. Ask anything. Create anything. Draft anything. Agents have a story. Let AI do the work. That story is easy to remember. It is easy to sell. It is easy to put in a board presentation. It is easy for vendors to package. It is easy for executives to repeat. The story may be oversimplified, but simple stories move market. This is why every company suddenly has an agent roadmap. Sometimes the roadmap is serious. Sometimes it is branding. Sometimes it is a list of pilots with new names. Sometimes it is a true transformation effort. But the language has changed. In business, language matters because language guides budget. When a project is called automation, it may be seen as back office efficiency. When it is called AI agents, it becomes strategic. That is a big difference. The same invoice workflow that sounded boring last year now sounds like digital labor transformation. This may sound cynical, but it is how corporate priorities shift. A new label can unlock attention. Then, if the underlying technology works, the label becomes a real category. That is what is happening with agents. Some of the hype is just new language on old automation. But some of it is genuinely new because language models can handle ambiguity that old automation could not. Old automation was brittle. It needed clear rules. If this, then that. If the invoice field matches, approve. If the email contains this keyword, route it. If the status changes, send a message. That worked for clean processes. It struggled with messy human language. AI agents can read messy requests. A customer does not have to use the exact phrase. An employee can ask a policy question in their own words. A vendor can send an invoice in a strange format. A sales lead can reply with a vague message. A contract can contain unusual language. A support ticket can mix anger, confusion, and missing details. This flexibility is what makes agents different. They can operate in the messy middle between rigid software and human judgment. That middle is huge. Most business work is not pure creativity. It is not pure rules either. It is semi-structured. There is a pattern, but also variation. There is a process, but also exception. There are rules, but also context. AI agents fit that semi-structured world. That is why they are so attractive. Old automation failed when the process got messy. Humans handled the mess. Agents promise to handle more of the mess. Again, not all of it, not perfectly, but enough to matter. Now let us talk about agent networks. The first agent deployments may be single agent, support agent, sales agent, invoice agent, HR agent. But eventually, companies will connect agents. A customer onboarding agent may talk to a billing agent. The billing agent may talk to a compliance agent. The compliance agent may talk to a legal agent. The legal agent may ask a human lawyer for approval. Then the onboarding agent continues. This creates agent networks. The opportunity is huge. The risk is also huge. If one agent makes a bad assumption, other agents may build on it. If permissions are too loose, errors can move across systems. If no one understands the full chain, accountability becomes unclear. Agent networks need orchestration. Who coordinates the agents? What happens when they disagree? Which agent has authority? How are conflicts resolved? How are loops prevented? How does a human inspect the chain? How do we stop agents from taking repeated action? This is where enterprise architecture becomes critical. The future is not just many agents. It is governed systems of agents. The companies that build this well may create enormous value. The companies that let agents multiply without control may create chaos. Now let us talk about the word autonomous. It is one of the most dangerous words in the agent market. Autonomy sounds exciting. It also scares serious buyers. Most enterprises do not want, they want controlled autonomy. An agent can act alone in low-risk situations. It must ask permission in medium-risk situations. It must escalate high-risk situations. That is how human organizations work too. A junior employee can answer common questions. They ask a manager before giving a large refund. They ask legal before changing contract terms. They ask finance before approving unusual spending. Agents should work the same way. The question is not, is the agent autonomous? The question is, autonomous within what boundary? That boundary is the product. A great agent product is not only a smart model. It is a carefully designed boundary system. Now let us talk about agent memory. Agents become more useful when they remember context. A customer service agent that remembers previous issues can respond better. A sales agent that remembers account history can personalize outreach. An HR agent that remembers employee status can guide onboarding. A coding agent that understands a repository can be more helpful. A personal assistant that knows preferences can act faster. Memory creates value. Memory also creates privacy risk. What should the agent remember? Who can access that memory? Can the user delete it? Can the company audit it? Can it be used for training? Can it leak between users? Can it create unfair decisions? Memory is one of the battlegrounds of agent trust. Companies will need policies for agent memory. No memory means limited usefulness. Too much memory means risk. The right answer depends on the use case. Now let us talk about agent personality. For enterprise workflows, personality is often less important than reliability. A support agent should be clear, polite, and accurate. A finance agent should be precise. A legal agent should be cautious. A sales agent should be professional. An HR agent should be empathetic but not overconfident. Too much personality can be dangerous. A charming agent that is wrong is worse than a boring agent that is correct. This is important because consumer AI often emphasizes friendliness in conversation. Enterprise agents need role discipline. They should act like trained employees, not random entertainers. Now let us talk about agent marketplaces again from the buyer's side. A future operations manager might browse a marketplace and see accounts payable agent, policy QA agent, customer return agent, sales prospecting agent, procurement review agent, security alert agent. Each promises saving. The manager clicks install. That sounds easy, but real companies are not app stores. Every workflow is in text. Every policy has exceptions. Every system is custom field. Every customer base is quirks. Every department has informal rules. So agents may need onboarding just like employees. You hire an agent. You train it on company policy. You give it access. You test it. You supervise it. You review its performance. You adjust its boundaries. This is a useful mental model. Buying an agent is not like buying a calculator. It is like hiring a very fast junior worker that needs rules. Now let us talk about agent training. In many cases, agent training will not mean training a foundation model from scratch. It will mean configuring the agent, instructions, policies, knowledge sources, tool access, examples, escalation rules, tone, permission, evaluation sets. This is closer to onboarding than model training. Companies will need people who know how to translate business process into agent instruction. That role could be valuable. A workflow designer who understands both the business and AI behavior can create reliable agents. This may become one of the most important jobs in the agent economy. Now let us talk about agents and company knowledge. A company with clean knowledge will benefit more than a company with tribal knowledge. Tribal knowledge lives in people's heads. Agents cannot access it unless it is documented or connected. This creates a new incentive. Document the business. The companies that document processes, policies, customer issues, product details, and decision rules will be able to automate more safely. The companies that rely on Ask Sarah, she knows will struggle if Sarah is unavailable or leave. Agents make institutional knowledge more valuable. They also make the loss of augmented knowledge more dangerous. Now let us talk about the human supervisor. A human supervising agents needs a different mindset from a human doing tasks. They need to ask, is the agent handling the right cases? What mistakes are recurring? Are escalations appropriate? Are customers satisfied? Are costs under control? Are policies up to date? Are edge cases increasing? Does the agent need new examples? Should permissions change? This is analytical and managerial. Some employees will enjoy this shift. Others will misdirect work. Companies should not assume everyone wants to become an AI supervisor. Work identity matters. A customer support person may take pride in helping customers directly. If their job becomes reviewing escalations and agent errors, that may feel different. A writer may enjoy writing, not editing AI drafts all day. A finance analyst may enjoy analysis, not checking machine outputs. The agent transition changes how work feels, not just how fast it moves. The human side matters. Now let us talk about human in the loop. This phrase is everywhere. It usually means a human reviews or approves AI action, but there are different kinds of human in the loop. A human before action. The agent drafts, human approves. A human after action. The agent acts, human audits sample. A human on exception. The agent handles normal cases, human handles escalation. A human on policy. The human designs rules, agent operates within them. A human on monitoring. The human watches metrics and failure pattern. Companies must choose the right type. Not every task needs pre-approval. Not every task should be fully autonomous. The design depends on risk. This is how serious agent systems will work. Now let us talk about why agents are attractive in a high-cost labor environment. When wages rise, hiring is hard, and customers demand more. Companies look for leverage. Agents are leverage. They allow one person to handle more work. They allow teams to scale without hiring at the same rate. They reduce the need for night shifts in some workflows. They make even the largest operations cheaper. They help companies manage demand spikes. This does not mean labor disappears, but it changes the ratio between output and headcount. Revenue per employee may become a KPI or a metric. Investors will watch it. Executives will brag about it. Workers will feel the pressure behind it. Now let us talk about the dark side of that net. If companies become obsessed with doing more with fewer people, work can become harsh. Remaining employees may manage too much. Entry-level roles may vanish. Customer interactions may become colder. Human expertise may erode. Mistakes may be hidden in automated systems. The company may become efficient but fragile. Efficiency is not the same as resilience. A company needs enough human knowledge to handle surprises. Agents can help with routine work. Crises still require people who understand the system deeply. If automation removes too much practical experience, the company may struggle during unusual events. This is another reason to keep humans meaningfully involved. Now let us talk about the future of middle management. Agents may reduce some coordination work, but they may also create new management complexity. Managers may need to oversee human agent teams. They may need to interpret agent metrics. They may need to decide when to automate and when not to. They may need to handle employer anxiety. They may need to redesign roles. They may need to manage vendors and governance. Bad managers will use agents as a blunt instrument. Good managers will use them as leverage while protecting team health. The agent era may expose management quality. Now let us talk about agent adoption by industry. Retail. Returns. Support, inventorial alerts, product recommendations, merchandising, customer messages. Banking. Fraud triage, customer service, compliance support, loan processing, internal research. Insurance. Claims intake, document review, policy questions, risk summaries. Healthcare. Scheduling, billing, patient messaging, documentation support, administrative workflow, manufacturing, maintenance alerts, supply chain coordination, quality reports, procurement, travel and hospitality, booking changes, customer requests, loyalty support, itinerary update, software, coding agent, support agent, sales agent, product analytics, government, citizen service, form guidance, internal document search, case routing, education, tutoring support, administrative assistance, student services. Every industry has repeated workflows. That is why the agent market is broad. But each industry has different risk. A retail return agent can be more autonomous than a healthcare diagnosis agent. A hotel booking agent can act more freely than a loan approval agent. A coding assistant can suggest changes, but critical systems need review. Risk decides autonomy. Now let us talk about agent strategy for a company starting today. Step 1. Inventory repetitive workflows. Step 2. Rank them by business pain and risk. Step 3. Choose one or two low-risk, high-volume use cases. Step 4. Define the exact job of the agent. Step 5. Connect only the data and tools needed. Step 6. Set approval rules. Step 7. Test with real historical cases. Step 8. Deploy to a small group. Step 9. Measure outcomes. Step 10. Expand carefully. This is not flashy. It is how real change happens. Companies that skip steps may get impressive demos and disappointing production results. Now let us talk about why agent adoption may look slow, then sudden. Early work is invisible. Data cleanup, integration, security review, process mapping, evaluation, pilot design. Then one day, the workflow changes. Tickets resolve faster. Reports appear automatically. Invoices route themselves. Leads get followed up instantly. Employees get answers without HR. To outsiders, it looks sudden. Inside, it took months of preparation. This is common in technology adoption. The visible shift comes after invisible groundwork. Now let us talk about what every company really means. Not every company will build agents in-house. Not every company will have a sophisticated AI team. Not every company will call them agents. Not every company will deploy them safely. But almost every company will use software that includes agents. Your CRM will have agents. Your help desk will have agents. Your office suite will have agents. Your HR system will have agents. Your accounting tool will have agents. Your project management software will have agents. Your cloud platform will have agents. Your website chat will have agents. Companies may adopt agents even if they never launch an AI agent project. The agents will arrive inside the software they already use. That is why adoption can be so broad. It is not only a top-down transformation. It is a product update. This is exactly why enterprise vendors are racing. They can ship agents into existing customer bases. Now let us talk about the danger of silent adoption. If agents arrive as features, companies may not govern them properly. A department turns on an AI feature. Employees start using it. Data flows. Actions happen. No central review occurs. This is shadow AI. CIOs and security teams fear it. Companies need clear policies. Which AI tools are approved? What data can be used? What actions are allowed? Who reviews agent deployments? How are incidents reported? Without policy, adoption still happens. It just happens blindly. Now let us talk about agent benchmarks. Benchmarks can be misleading. A model may perform well on a test but fail in a company workflow. A demo may show the agent completing a clean task, but real cases are messy. A benchmark may not measure security, escalation, or business value. Companies need workflow-specific evaluation. For a support agent, resolution accuracy, escalation quality, customer satisfaction, policy compliance, average handling time, refund error rate. For a finance agent, invoice match accuracy, duplicate detection, approval correctness, exception routing, audit completeness. For a sales agent, lead quality, response accuracy, CRM update quality, meeting conversion, brand safety. For an HR agent, policy accuracy, privacy compliance, employee satisfaction, escalation of sensitive cases. And neural AI intelligence is not enough. Workflow performance matters. Now let us talk about agents and trust with customers. Customers may accept AI agents if the agent solves the problem. The agent is fast. The agent is honest. The agent can escalate. The agent does not pretend to be human in sensitive context. The agent respects customer history. The agent does not trap them. Customers will reject AI agents if they feel ignored. They get wrong answers. They cannot reach a human. The agent repeats scripts. The agent hides company responsibility. The agent creates more work. The lesson is simple. Use agents to serve customers, not avoid them. Now let us talk about agents and brand. Every agent becomes a brand representative. A bad agent can damage trust. A helpful agent can improve loyalty. Companies spend years building brand voice. An agent can ruin it in one interaction. This is why marketing, legal, support, and brand teams need to be involved in customer-facing agents. Tone matters. Accuracy matters. Escalation matters. An agent is not just a technical object. It is part of the customer experience. Now let us talk about agents and personalization. Agents can personalize interactions using customer data. This can be useful, but personalization can feel creepy. A good agent says, "I see your order is delayed. I can help." A creepy agent says too much too. "I noticed you were browsing this product at RDS and your last 3 purchases suggest you may want." Companies need restraint. Just because an agent can use data does not mean it should. Trust requires taste. Now let us talk about the next wave agents that negotiate. Some companies may use agents to negotiate prices, contracts, renewals, or procurement terms. This is powerful and risky. If buyer agents and seller agents negotiate with each other, business interactions could change. Software purchasing, travel booking, advertising, freight, insurance, and procurement could become more automated. but negotiation involves strategy, trust, and legal consequences. Agents may assist before they fully negotiate. Still, this future is coming in pieces. Agents will first prepare negotiation briefs, compare options, suggest terms, and draft responses. Then they may handle low-value negotiations within limits. Now let us talk about agents and communication overload. Email, Slack, Teams, and notifications have made work noisy. Agents can reduce noise by summarizing, prioritizing, and routing. They can say, these are the 3 messages that matter. This thread needs your decision. This request can be handled automatically. This meeting produced these tasks. This could make work calmer. But agents can also create more noise if poorly designed. More automated messages. More summaries nobody reads. More alerts. More robotic follow-ups. The goal should be less noise had been led, not faster noise. Now let us talk about agent-generated work. If agents create more output, companies may drown in output. More reports, more emails, more documents, more dashboard, more campaign variants, more meeting summaries. Output is not value. Value comes from better decisions, faster resolution, happier customers, lower cost, and higher revenue. Companies must avoid measuring agents by volume alone. An agent that creates 10 useless reports is not productive. An agent that creates 1 useful alert at the right time is valuable. This is a key lesson. Now let us talk about agents and decision rights. In every company, someone has the right to decide. Can the agent decide? Can it recommend? Can it execute? Can it approve? Can it reject? Can it escalate? These rights must be explicit. A vague agent is dangerous. For each workflow, define. The agent may decide these things. The agent may recommend these things. The agent must ask approval for these things. The agent must never do these things. This is basic governance. It will become standard. Now let us talk about the agent control panel. Future companies may have dashboards showing active agent, tasks completed, success rates, cost, escalations, errors, customer satisfaction, policy violations, data access. They remotely and excites you. Workflow bottlenecks. This becomes the new operations center. Instead of only managing human teams, leaders manage hybrid workflow. The agent dashboard may become as important as the CRM or ERP dashboard. This is a new category. Now let us talk about why agents are not simply RPA in lieu. Robotic process automation automated repetitive digital tasks for years. It clicked buttons, moved data, followed rules. RPA was useful but brittle. If the screen changed, it broke. If the input was messy, it struggled. If the workflow required language understanding, it needed help. AI agents can be more flexible because they understand language and context better. But RPA taught important lessons. Automation projects need process clarity. Maintenance matters. Bad workflows should not be automated blindly. Governance matters. ROI matters. Agents inherit those lessons. A company that failed at RPA can still succeed with agents if it learned why it failed. A company that ignores those lessons may repeat the same mistakes with more expensive tools. Now let us talk about agents and APIs. Agents are much more useful when systems have APIs. An API lets software talk to software. If a company has modern systems with good APIs, agents can act more cleanly. If systems are old, closed, or inconsistent, agents may struggle. This is why legacy modernization matters. Agent adoption may push companies to upgrade old systems. That creates more business for cloud providers, consultants, and software vendors. The agent boom can pull the rest of digital transformation behind it. Now let us talk about agent ICAI in the public sector. Government agencies deal with forms, cases, citizen questions, benefits, permits, inspections, and internal documents. Agents could help citizens navigate complex systems. They could reduce waiting times. They could support case workers. They could summarize policies. But government agents need transparency. fairness, accessibility, and accountability. A wrong answer about benefits, immigration, taxes, or healthcare can harm people. So public sector adoption may be cautious but important. If done well, agents could make government services easier to use. If done badly, they could deepen mistrust. Now let us talk about agents in healthcare administration. Healthcare is full of administrative burden, scheduling, insurance verification, billing codes, prior authorization, patient messages, clinical documentation, follow-ups, referral coordination. Agents can help reduce paperwork. That could give doctors and nurses more time with patients. But healthcare is high stakes. Clinical decisions require careful oversight. Privacy is strict. Errors can harm people. The biggest near-term opportunity may be administrative, not diagnostic. This is a common pattern. Agents start where risk is lower and burden is high. Now let us talk about agents and law firms. Law firms bill for time. Agents reduce time. That creates a business model tension. If an agent can review documents faster, clients may expect lower bills. Firms may use agents to improve margin. Junior associate work may change. Legal research may speed up. Contract review may become more efficient. But law depends on responsibility and judgment. AI can help draft and summarize. Lawyers remain accountable. The legal industry will adopt agents carefully, but it cannot ignore them. Clients will ask why simple work takes so long if AI can help. Now let us talk about agents and finance. Financial services are heavily regulated and process-heavy. Agents can help with compliance, customer service, code triage, internal research, reporting, and document review. But model risk management becomes critical. Banks already understand model governance from traditional risk. They may apply similar discipline to AI agents. This could make financial firms slower but safer. Once they trust a workflow, adoption can scale. Now let us talk about agents and manufacturing. Manufacturing companies of physical operation, supply chains, maintenance schedules, quality check, and procurement workflows. Agents can monitor equipment data, summarize maintenance issues, coordinate suppliers, analyze quality reports, and support operators. The combination of AI agents and physical systems may become powerful, but physical consequences matter. An agent suggesting the wrong maintenance action could be costly. Human oversight remains essential. Now let us talk about agents and retail. Retailers can use agents for customer service, product recommendation, inventory alerts, pricing analysis, vendor communication, and return. Retail is attractive because margins are tight and customer volume is high. Small improvements matter. A retailer that handles returns faster and answers product questions better and improves inventory decisions can gain advantage. Agents fit this world well. Now let us talk about agents and media. Media companies can use agents for research, transcription, summarization, editing assistance, archive search, audience analysis, and content repurpose swapping. But they must be careful with originality, accuracy, and rights. AI-generated low quality can damage brand trust. Agents should support journalists and creators, not replace editorial judgment blindly. Now let us talk about the economy-wide effect. If agents improve productivity, companies may produce more with fewer resources. That could boost economic growth. But if gains concentrate among platform owners and large companies, inequality could rise. If workers are displaced faster than new roles appear, social stress grows. If small businesses get access to agents, they may compete better. If only large companies can deploy agents safely, big firms may gain more power. The outcome depends on access, training, regulation, and business choices. Technology does not distribute benefits automatically. Now let us talk about AI agent literacy for leaders. A leader does not need to code an agent, but they should understand what agents can and cannot do, where risk appears, how to measure ROI, how data quality affects performance, why human oversight matters, why vendors may overpromise, how agent economics work, how employee roles will change. Leaders who treat agents as magic will fail. Leaders who treat agents as operational systems have a chance. Now let us talk about the cultural shift from using AI to working with AI. Using AI means I ask, it answers. Working with AI means I assign. It acts. I supervise, we improve the workflow. That is a deeper relationship. Companies must train people for that. Employees should learn how to delegate to agents, review their work, and refine processes. Delegation is a skill. Bad delegation to humans creates bad results. Bad delegation to agents does too. Now let us talk about agent overload. If every team creates agents, employees may have to deal with too many AI systems. A sales agent, a support agent, a meeting agent, a reporting agent, an HR agent, an IT agent, a finance agent, a project agent. This could become confusing. Companies may need a unified agent interface or a central assistant that coordinates specialized agents. This is why platform companies want to build the main agent layer. If one assistant becomes the front door, too many agents. That assistant tones user attention. This is another platform. Now let us talk about who becomes the agent operating system. Microsoft wants Copilot to be the work agent layer. Google wants Gemini in Workspace and Cloud. OpenAI wants ChatGPT to become a universal assistant and agent platform. Salesforce wants Agentforce in sales and service. ServiceNow wants agents for enterprise workflow. Amazon wants agents built on AWS. Apple may bring agents to personal devices. Meta may bring agents into messaging and social platforms. The agent OS is a giant prize. Whoever controls the interface between humans and agents may control how work gets assigned. That is platform power. Now let us talk about why this scares software incumbents. If users interact through an agent, they may not care which software tool is underneath. They ask, find the customer record and send a follow-up. The agent may use CRM in the background, but the user does not open the CRM. If this becomes common, the software interface loses value. The agent interface gains value. This could shift power from systems of record to systems of action. The system of record stores data. The system of action gets work done. Agents are systems of action. That is why the agent layer is so strategic. Now let us talk about what happens to analytics. If agents can not only report what happened but suggest and execute next steps, analytics becomes more operational. Old analytics. Here is a dashboard showing Agent, I see analytics. Churn risk increased in these accounts. I drafted outreach for the account managers, scheduled follow-ups, and flagged 3 product issues for review. That is a different product. Business intelligence becomes business action. This is attractive because many dashboards are ignored. Agents can turn insight into workflow. But again, action must be controlled. Now let us talk about the future of email. Email is full of repetitive work. Read, prioritize, reply, forward, schedule, follow up, summarize, archive. Agents can help dramatically. But email is also risky because it contains sensitive information and external attacks. An email agent must be careful with permissions and prompt injection. Still, email agents may become one of the most common forms of AI assistant. Everyone hates email overload. That pain is universal. Now let us talk about calendar agents. Scheduling is a perfect example of annoying work. Find times, check availability, coordinate time zones, reschedule, add links, send reminders, update attendees. Agents can handle much of this. This may seem small, but small frictions across millions of workers add up. The agent economy is built on removing small frictions at scale. Now let us talk about agents and procurement of software itself. Ironically, agents may help companies buy agents. A procurement agent could compare vendors, read security documents, summarize contracts, and route approvals. This means AI may speed up AI adoption. Once companies trust agents for procurement, software sales cycles could change. Vendors may have to sell to both humans and AI evaluators. This opens another strange future. Websites and documentation optimized for AI agents that compare products. Marketing will change. Now let us talk about agent-to-agent commerce. A buyer's agent asks a seller's agent for pricing. The seller's agent responds. The buyer's agent compares alternatives. A human approves. A purchase happens. This could start with simple categories: business travel, software renewals, office supplies, ed buying. If this grows, companies will need to design their digital presence for agents, not only humans. That is a major shift. Search engine optimization may become agent optimization. Sales pages may need machine-readable trust. Reviews, documentation, pricing, and policies may need to be structured for AI consumption. The internet could change around agents. Now let us talk about why now from a technical view in plain language. Agents became possible because models got better at three things: understanding messy language, following instructions, using tools. They also got larger context windows, meaning they can handle more information. They became better at code, which helps with tool use. They became easier to connect through APIs. Businesses began storing more work in digital systems. Cloud infrastructure made scaling possible. No single breakthrough created agents. Several improvements combined. That is often how technology shifts happen. The final product feels sudden because many quiet improvements reached a threshold. Now let us talk about good enough. This phrase matters. An agent does not need to be smarter than every employee. It needs to be good enough for a specific work. A refund agent does not need to understand philosophy. It needs to know refund policy. A sales research agent does not need to close enterprise deals. It needs to gather useful information. An invoice agent does not need creativity. It needs accuracy and escalation. Narrow agents are easier to trust. The future may not be one giant agent doing everything. It may be thousands of narrow agents doing specific work. That is more realistic. Now let us talk about monitoring. An agent deployment without monitoring is like hiring employees and never reviewing their work. Companies need to track accuracy, cost, latency, escalations, failure modes, user satisfaction, customer satisfaction, policy compliance, security incidents, business outcomes. Monitoring makes improvement possible. Agent vendors that provide strong monitoring will win enterprise trust. Now let us talk about feedback loops. Agents can improve from feedback. Humans correct outputs. Customers rate responses. Supervisors flag mistakes. The system updates instructions or examples. The workflow improves. This creates a learning organization. But feedback must be managed carefully. Bad feedback can teach wrong behavior. Biased feedback can create biased agents. Sparse feedback can miss rare errors. Agent improvement is not automatic. It needs process. Now let us talk about agent cost. Agents can become expensive if they use powerful models too often. A simple task should not always use the most expensive model. Companies may use model routing. Small model for easy tasks. Large model for hard tasks. Rules for simple action. Human escalation for uncertainty. This reduces cost. The future agent stack will be a mix of AI, rules, search tools, and human. Not everything needs a frontier model. This is how economics will improve. Now let us talk about the role of rules. People sometimes think AI agents replace rules. In reality, good agents often need rules. Rules define boundaries. Models handle ambiguity inside those boundaries. A refund policy is a rule. A spending limit is a rule. A privacy restriction is a rule. An escalation threshold is a rule. A legal approval requirement is a rule. The agent uses intelligence to apply rules in messy situations. Rules plus AI is stronger than either alone. Now let us talk about agent failures in public. There will be embarrassing stories. An agent gives a customer the wrong refund. An airline bot promises something the company disputes. An HR agent gives bad policy advice. A sales agent sends thousands of awkward emails. A legal agent misses a clause. A support agent refuses to escalate. A coding agent introduces a bug. These stories will spread. They will make companies more cautious. They will also help the market mature. Every technology has early failures. The question is whether the value survives them. With agents, the value is likely strong enough that companies will improve rather than abandon. Now let us talk about the difference between replacing tasks and replacing role. Agents usually replace tasks first. A role is a bundle of tasks. If enough tasks inside a role are automated, the role changes. If most tasks are automated, the role may shrink or disappear. If new tasks appear, the role may evolve. This is why labor impact is gradual and uneven. A support rep may lose repetitive ticket work but gain escalation responsibility. A marketer may lose first drafts but gain campaign strategy work. A finance analyst may lose data entry but gain exception analysis. A recruiter may lose scheduling but gain candidate relationship work. Sometimes this is positive. Sometimes it is simply fewer jobs. It depends on business choices. Now let us talk about workforce planning. Companies need to plan for role changes before deploying agents. Which tasks will be automated? Which roles change? What training is needed? What new roles appear? How will performance be measured? How will employees be involved? What happens if productivity rises? Will the company reduce hiring, redeploy people, or expand services? Without planning, agents create anxiety and confusion. With planning, they can improve work. The difference is leadership. Now let us talk about why boards care. Boards care because AI agents touch strategy, risk, then competitiveness. They ask, are we falling behind? Are we exposed to operational risk? Could agents improve margins? Could agents disrupt our industry? Are competitors using them? Do we have governance? Do we understand legal exposure? Is management prepared? Boards may not understand all the technology, but they understand disruption. This pushes CEOs to act. Now let us talk about agent adoption as a signaling game. Companies may announce agent initiatives to signal innovation. To investors, we are AI forward. To customers, we are modern. We are transforming. To competitors, we are not asleep. Some announcements will be more signal than substance, but signaling can still lead to real investment. This is part of every tech cycle. Now let us talk about the long-term endpoint. The endpoint is not a company where no humans work. The endpoint is a company where humans and agents divide work differently. Agents handle repetition, monitoring, drafting, routing, checking, searching, summarizing, low-risk execution. Humans handle judgment, trust, strategy, creativity, ethics, relationships, complex exception, accountability, leadership. This division will vary by industry and company, but the direction is clear. Routine digital work becomes more automated. Now let us talk about the companies that will be hurt. Companies built on manual service delivery may face pressure. If their value is mostly human labor doing repetitive digital tasks, agents may reduce prices. Outsourcing firms must adapt. Agencies must show strategy, not just production. Software companies without agent strategies may be seen as old. Startups with high support costs may be pressured by agent-native competitors. Employers relying on cheap junior labor may rethink hiring. Agents will change cost structures. When cost structures change, industries change. Now let us talk about the companies that will benefit. Companies with clear workflows, strong data, modern systems, good governance, high-volume operations, expensive repetitive tasks, leadership discipline, employee training, customer trust. These companies can deploy agents productively. The winners may not be the flashiest. They may be the most operationally prepared. Now let us talk about the global labor angle. If agents automate back-office work, countries that benefited from outsourcing may be affected, but they may also build agent-enabled service businesses. A call center company can become an AI customer operations company. A business process outsourcing firm can combine human expertise with agents. A global services company can use agents to improve margin. The shift is not simply jobs moving from one country to machine. It is services being redesigned. The countries and companies that adapt may remain competitive. Those that depend on old labor arbitrage may struggle. Now let us talk about why agents make CEOs imagine smaller companies. For decades, growth meant headcount. More customers meant more support. More sales meant more reps. More finance work meant more analysts. More hiring meant more recruiters. Agents challenge that relationship. Growth may not require the same headcount growth. This is extremely attractive to investors. A company with rising revenue and controlled headcount can show better margin. Public markets reward that. Private investors reward that. Founders reward that. This financial incentive will push adoption. Now let us talk about the ethical tension. If agents make companies more profitable, who gets the gain? Shareholders. Executives? Customers through lower prices. Employees through higher wages and better work. Society through productivity growth. This is not decided by technology. It is decided by business choices, competition, labor markets, and policy. AI agents create value. Distribution of value is the hard question. Now let us talk about the consumer side again. People may use personal agents to deal with companies. A consumer agent can call customer service, compare insurance, negotiate bills, manage subscriptions, and handle returns. If companies have agents and consumers have agents, interactions may become agent to agent. This could reduce frustration. It could also create new gains. Companies may design policies to influence consumer agents. Consumers may use agents to exploit loopholes. Regulators may need to define rules. The agent economy may change not only internal business but market interaction. Now let us talk about agent identities. If agents act, they may need identities. Which agent took this action? On behalf of whom? With what permission? At what time? Using what data? With what approval? Digital identity for agents becomes important. Companies will need to manage agent credentials like employee credentials. An agent should not use a shared admin account. It needs traceability. This is a security and compliance issue. Now let us talk about agent retirement. What happens when an agent is no longer used? Disable access. Archive log other. Remove credentials. Transfer responsibilities. Update documentation. This sounds boring. It matters. An old agent with active permissions is a security risk. Agent lifecycle management will become standard. Now let us talk about future audits. Auditors may ask, show us what agents did. Show us approval logs. Show us data access. Show us error handling. Show us policy updates. Show us human reviews. Companies will need records. This is why agent platforms with strong auditability will win regulated industries. Now let us talk about the emotional appeal to founders. Founders love the idea of agents because it promises focus. Instead of hiring a large operations team, a founder imagined one person plus agents, a small team plus agents, a global business with lean headcount. This can be real in some cases, but founders should remember, agents do not remove the need for customer understanding. They do not create strategy by themselves. They do not replace trust. They do not fix a bad product. They do not make unit economics automatically work. Agents are leverage. Leverage magnifies what exists. Good business plus agents can become stronger. Bad business plus agents can become faster. Now let us talk about agent hype cycles. There will be inflated expectations, then disappointment, then practical adoption. This happens with many technologies. The first wave says, agents will run everything. The second wave says, agents are unreliable. The third wave says, agents are useful in specific workflows with good design. The third wave is where real businesses are built. We are moving toward that. Now let us talk about what a realistic RDRDO agent deployment might look like. not a fully autonomous company, not a robot workforce. A support agent resolves simple tickets. A sales agent prepares account research. The finance agent flags invoice exception. An HR agent answers policy questions. An IT agent handles password reset. A meeting agent captures action items. A data agent prepares weekly summaries. Humans supervise. Metrics improve. Some roles change. Some hiring slows. The company learns. That is realistic. And if thousands of companies do that, the economy changes. Now let us talk about the final reason companies want agents. They are tired of software that only creates more work. Many tools promise productivity but added dashboards, needs, notifications, fields, and admin tasks. Workers became servants of software. Agents promise the opposite, software that serves the worker. If delivered well, that is powerful. The best agents will make software feel less like a burden. They will hide complexity. They will complete routine work. They will bring the right information at the right time. That is the user experience dream. The danger is that agents become another layer of complexity. More tools, more alerts, more errors, more monitoring, more cost. The difference depends on design. Now let us close the story. Every company suddenly wants AI agents because the old way of scaling work feels too expensive, too slow, and too manual. Chatbots showed that AI could talk. Agents suggest that AI can work. That jump from talking to working is what business has been waiting for. Companies do not buy technology because it is impressive. They buy it because it changes the numbers. Faster service, lower cost, more output, better margin, shorter cycles, fewer bottlenecks, and it is named, higher revenue per employee. Agents speak the language of business. That is why the demand is sudden. That is why the market is crowded. That is why the hype is loud. That is why the risk is real. That is why the opportunity is enormous. The next few years will not be about whether companies try agents. They already are. The real question is which companies will use them wisely. The winners will not be the ones with the most agents. They will be the ones with the clearest workflows, strongest data, best governance, and smartest human judgment. Because an agent without judgment around it is just automation with confidence. But an agent inside a well-run process can become something much more powerful. A new kind of worker, a new kind of workflow, a new layer of the company. That is why every company wants AI agent. They are not chasing a chatbot. They are chasing the possibility that work itself can move differently. And once companies see that possibility, they cannot stop asking the same question. Can we use agents for that?